Hello everybody, and thanks for joining me. Today I would like to talk about the 1st of December 1943 from the Bomber Command War Diaries. Fairly quiet day as far as Bomber Command was concerned, with 19 Stirlings and 12 Halifaxes sent out to the Frisians and the east coast of Denmark. 2 aircraft were lost, both short Stirlings, which we'll look at very shortly. That's the entire entry from the Bomber Command War Diaries, but when reading behind the lines of the official diary, sometimes you can come up with some fairly tragic events. So the 2 aircraft we're going to look at today, short Sterling III EP191, that was airborne from RAF Wratting Common, which is about 10 miles to the east of Cambridge. It got airborne at 15:13 GMT, and it was tasked to drop sea mines, codenamed gardening for the mission, and the mines themselves were codenamed as vegetables, planting the vegetables on a gardening mission. Both these aircraft were tasked in the same sort of area around about the east coast of Denmark and around the Frisians. EP191 was intercepted around 1754 GMT by Oberleutnant Gerhard Raht of 4 Night Geschwader 3, that's a night fighter group, and he was flying a Ju-88C6 from Westerland Sylt airfield in Germany. Unfortunately, none of the crew survived this incident, the Sterling being lost with all members on board. That's tragic in itself, the loss of the entire crew on a relatively straightforward mission. But it's the second aircraft really that I'd like to talk about today, and that is short Sterling III EH880, 75 New Zealand squadron. And it got airborne from RAF Meeple, which is about 6 miles to the northwest of Ely in Cambridgeshire, at 15:16 GMT, so around about the same time as our previous aircraft, on the 1st of December 43. It was on the same mission, heading out towards Denmark and the Frisian Islands with vegetables on board for its gardening mission. On return home, though, the aircraft was diverted towards Acklington due to fog around the Meeple area and in the south in general. At 2200 hours, EH880 was approaching from the northeast, was descending to land, but due to the weather conditions in the area, the pilot and crew misjudged their locations by about 1.5 miles and tragically flew into the upper floor of Cliff House Farm. The crash killed all members on board, as well as 4 children in the farmhouse. An extract from the Times newspaper published on the 3rd of December 1943 reads as, quote, "Aircraft crash at farmhouse. Family of 5 young children killed. 5 children, all their family, of Mr. and Mrs. W. Robson were killed when an aircraft crashed into Cliff House, a small dairy farm near Amble, Northumberland, on Wednesday night. The children's ages ranged from 1 to 9 years, and they were sleeping in an upstairs room. The mother and father, who with their 2 friends, Mr. and Mrs. Roll of Dilston Terrace, Amble, were sitting in the downstairs room, were injured but not seriously. One of the crew of the aircraft, a gunner, was saved by Mr. Rowell. Mr. Rowell said, last night we did not realise what happened until the house collapsed above our heads. We managed to stand up, bruised and badly dazed, and looking upwards we saw the sky. Mrs. Robson tried to make her way towards the stairs, which had been blown away. My wife called my attention to the burning object outside, which was moving about. We rushed over and found it was an air gunner in his clothes alight. Mr. Rowell rolled the airman on the ground to extinguish the burning clothes. Although badly burned, the gunner was alive. The children's partly charred bodies were recovered later." End quote. The children were Sylvia Robson, aged 9, Ethel Robson, aged 7, Marjorie Robson, aged 5, William Matthew Robson, aged 3, and Sheila Robson, aged 19 months. The crew of the aircraft, EH880, warrant officer, pilot, George Kerr, Sergeant Air Gunner, George Lucas, Sergeant Air Bomber, Ronald Smith, Sergeant Navigator, Donald Wart, Flight Sergeant Wireless Op Air Gunner, Derek Holt, and Sergeant Leonard Copsey. The mid-upper gunner was Sergeant Kenneth Hook. He survived the incident but sustained serious burns. This history just unravels a deeper level of the operational histories we all look at as aviation enthusiasts, and that personal tragic history, the 5 children being killed in their beds by a freak accident of nature. The aircraft diverted from Meeple, obviously with fog over the ground. Conditions would have been pretty poor with low cloud, low visibility, and dead reckoning navigation, which is 1943 really what they would have been using, judging distance with airspeed over time, puts you in an area, but to be a mile and a half out and obviously descending into the airfield, and many aircraft during World War II suffered these incidences, normally over the high ground in Wales and northern Scotland, many a crash over the Peak District, but all the more tragic when children are involved. Now, this has only really come to my attention because I was looking at the war diaries, those few lines I read at the beginning of this video, but it was repeated many times over during World War II. Just the pure luck or bad luck of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and people that are not directly involved in the war, in this case 5 young children, tragically losing their lives through no fault of their own. This is the tragedy of warfare that we as a human species have faced throughout our existence, and in modern warfare especially, the civilian being in the way of the line of fire. And it carries on to this day, and it's such a tragic waste of human life. I hope you enjoyed this short video. I wanted to make this after reading the exploits of these bomber crews today and the tragic loss of the children on this day in 1943. Thanks for joining me. There'll be more to come. Please do check out my Facebook page. My name is David Petters. And if you haven't liked and subscribed already, please do so on Facebook and here on YouTube. Thank you very much.